Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with another Noodle film review. Today we're looking at a remake of a classic, a 1930s classic film that was remade in around about 2004 time. We're looking at Peter Jackson's King Kong. This is the 4K edition released by Universal. It has the 4K disc, it has the Blu-ray version of the film and a Blu-ray of extra features. So that's what this comes with, and it comes in like a slipcase, as you can see. Right, so a little synopsis of the film. Won't go into depth to you because you should know the story anyway. I did do a review of the original 1938 film on my channel, so if you want to go back and look at that, that will give you a deeper synopsis. But I'll go through a little bit with you. The film starts off with us giving us a little view of 1920s New York, with Al Jolson singing.
Just like Humpty Dumpty, I'm going to fall, and I'm set on top of the world. I'm rolling along. Don't want any million. I'm getting my share. I've only got one suit, just one. That's all I can wear.
We then meet Anne, who's like our main female character in the film, and she's playing in this sort of comedy sort of show at a theatre, and she's doing all this sort of comedic sort of dancing and stuff. But the theatre's in quite a lot of trouble. It's like financially not pulling in the audience. So we see them for a little bit, jibber jabber going on about it, and then outside after the show, she goes there the next day to see that the theatre's been closed, and she's talking to one of the older members of the cast.
I'm leaving, Annie. I'm going back to Chicago. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Annie. Ever since you were small, people have been letting you down. You gotta think of yourself now. You should try out for that part.
We then cut to like I believe it's a film company viewing some sort of footage, wildlife footage shot by Carl Brevin, who's played by Jack Black. And as you may know, in the original, he was the main filmmaker that went on to make the film. Anyway, they're viewing some sort of film footage of his. They go on to tell him that they're a bit fed up with the stuff he's making. No one wants to see it. They all want to see sort of like glamorous sort of girls and that in the films, and not just wildlife. But they'll sell the film on as sort of like, you know, for footage that people can use in wildlife sort of programs or films. And he's not happy with that, so he leaves and takes the footage with him.
Kill my film. You realize that none of the camera equipment is on board. We have no permits, no visas. That's why I have you, Prescott. We have no insurance, we have no foreign currency. In fact, we have no currency of any kind. Get in there. Who's gonna pay for the ship? Get in. Get out of there! Come here! Step on it! Step on it! Get out! You're finished! Shut up! Don't worry.
But he has taken on board that that what they're saying, like, and he does want to go. He's got this map that he's found, that he's been given, of a secret sort of place, and we all know it's Skull Island, right? And he's taken on board. They're saying like a girl, and he thinks, yeah, maybe a girl would bring a sort of different aspect to his films. So he goes out around the streets of New York looking for a girl for his films. And whilst they're out and about, he stumbles across Anne, who he sort of likes straight away, and he finds her, like in the original film, trying to steal an apple.
Hey, you gotta pay for this.
Excuse me. Ma'am, I think you dropped this.
Vaudeville, huh? I worked vaudeville once. That is a tough audience.
So he takes her out to dinner and starts explaining about this voyage of adventure and fame and everything, like in the original, trying to get her to do this job. She's quite reluctant at first, but then when she finds out that the writer of the film is a guy called Jack, who's an author that she likes, a playwright, she gets on board. So we then join them at the docks, ready to get on board the boats.
Is this the moving picture ship?
Not exactly. It's actually this one over here. Don't let appearances deceive you. It's much more spacious on board.
Whilst on the boat, that's where we get to meet the playwright, Jack, who I believe is played by, what's his name? Adrian something his name is. I can't remember his surname, but he's quite a famous actor, and he's playing the playwright.
You haven't seen me. Say I got depressed and committed suicide. Say I stuck my head down the toilet. You want one? No, I can't stay, Carl. I got a rehearsal I'm now 3 hours late. What's this? What's the script? This is a script? Jack?
So so then the boat's off on its journey, and it's going through all sorts of things. You can see them, Jack Black, who plays Carl, doing loads of sort of film shots of the actor and the actress playing parts in this film on the boat, and all stuff like that. And then the captain of the boat finds out that that Carl is wanted to be arrested for stealing the film, and he wants to turn back the boat, but they can't. They're sort of stuck in this area now where the sort of the compass has gone sort of like haywire, with a sort of like magnet sort of atmosphere around. And then Andy Serkis, who's in the film, who plays a chef, gives us a story about the island that they're going to.
By west of Sumatra, an island hidden in fog. He spoke of a huge wall built so long ago, no one knew who made it. A wall 100 foot high, strong today as it was ages ago.
Why'd they build the wall?
On a castaway, he spoke of a creature, neither beast nor man, and something monstrous living behind that wall.
So they didn't get lost in this big sort of like sea fog bank out there, which is like they're totally lost. But when they emerge at Skull Island.
Whoa! There's a wall ahead! Stop engine!
So when they're at Skull Island, they see that massive wall that's keeping something away from the villagers there. So then they go to explore the local village. So they wander around the village because they think it's been deserted for like hundreds of years, and then a small child appears, and Carl tries to give him chocolate, and he doesn't want to know. Then all the villagers appear, and they're very hostile towards the crew, and one of them gets killed by a spear. So there we get Anne doing her scream queen bit, and she screams, and then we hear for the first time Kong replying, and everyone's stunned because they're thinking, what on earth was that? And it's coming from behind the wall. And then the film sort of takes a turn where the villagers start trying to kill off the crew, and they want to get the girl to give to Kong. Obviously the crew fight back. In the other one it's different. In the original they were a friendly tribe and stuff like that, well, apart from kidnapping the girl, but they were more sort of like friendly. But this one they're more hostile, so they start shooting them back with the guns because the crew turn up to help them out. Some of them get killed again with like get their heads cut off and all sorts of things like that. They're just about to cut off Carl's head when the crew turn up and shoot their way through, and they all go back to the boat. But at the night time, the villagers again sneak onto the boat and kidnap the girl, and she's taken off to Kong. And that's all I'm going to tell you. You do know the story of King Kong anyway. You should do, because it's been on my channel and it's a famous story. So what do I think of this version? I thought it's a really excellent version of the film. Really cool. They've done a really good job of the film. Peter Jackson's direction is really, really cool. And the characters are really excellent. And it's filmed magnificently. It's beautiful. So the pluses of the film, the visuals is stunning. There's a lot of CGI, which also, you know, I'm not a big fan of, but there you go. That's in there. There's a lot of good shots of the dinosaurs and that on the island there, which is awesome. It's well acted. It's well directed. It looks stunning, and it's a great story, classic story. Negatives of the film, there's a few. Myself, I think it's too long. I mean, the film runs for 3 hours 7 minutes. The original film runs for 1 hour 20. So it's a bit long. It's a little bit of a negative. And another negative, and it's long by them drawing some parts of the story that's quite irrelevant out that we don't really need to know about. A little bit of a negative to that. And CGI, I'm not a big fan of it. As you know, I like my my horrors to be like the old traditional way, but obviously for this sort of film it works. I mean, this sort of film and Jurassic Parks, but CGI is sort of like made for those sort of films. So I'll let it off for that reason alone. So there we go. But the transfer is superb. It looks stunning. It's a really good film. Just a bit too long. So I'm going to score it now. I'm going to score it an awesome watch and give it a 9 out of 10. I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if it was condensed down a bit more, not so long. So there's a lot of sort of character building that you don't need to know. Like at the beginning of the film when she's in her theatre, we're getting to know quite a few characters from her theatre, and we never see them again. So there's no point for that at all whatsoever. So it's just like things like that. And then when they come back to New York with Kong, we then go to Jack at his theatre watching his play. We don't need to see that, you know. It's just stuff that's added into it that sort of made it really, really long, and it doesn't need those bits in it. It didn't put anything into the film. So to me, I think about, yeah, did you really need those in? And that was the theatrical watch. There is a director's cut, which I believe adds another 30 minutes. And I just think, oh, I'm glad we chose that one. But anyway, me and the lad Lemon Lord loved watching it last night. He loved it. And it's a great movie. So I've given it 9 out of 10. That's my review of Peter Jackson's King Kong. Have you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was really, really cool. Like I said, if it wasn't as long, I probably would have enjoyed it more. Some of it is really close to the original, and other parts are so distant, like the tribe being more hostile. In the other one there weren't. Just stuff like that. And there was an actor introduced to the film to acting along with Anne, but in the original there isn't an actor in it. So there's all stuff like that. And it's like you get an hour at the beginning at New York, then you get an hour at Skull Island, and then you get an hour again when they go back to New York with Kong. So it's a very long-paced film. So you've got to have time to watch it. But apart from that, it's really, really great. Guys, look after yourselves. Look after one another. And I really hope I see you all soon.